Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin. Hello and welcome to episode number 20 on the Online Trainers Podcast. Today's topic is where your focus goes, your energy will flow. Now, seeing as this podcast is almost a daily show, really talking about growth, mindset, marketing, sales, everything that you need to become an online personal trainer, I thought I'd want to share my journey. And whilst I'm growing, whilst I'm learning, I want to be able to share that with you, because a big component of learning is teaching. And yeah, I think I said this in the other podcast episode, that whatever you learn and whatever you can teach, you really consolidate your learning, but really it gets your mind thinking in a different way. And especially with these podcasts, these are quite therapeutic for me. And so I'm kind of drawn to them. I don't feel as though I have to do them every day, which is fantastic. And every day I want to present a lesson or something that I've learned that improved my business, improved my mindset, improved my personal growth or business growth, or, something to do with marketing strategy. We'll definitely dive into Facebook ads and tactics and how to get more clients in the future episodes, but really setting you up for the foundation so that, you don't go out there to get more clients and then now you're overworked, you're overwhelmed, and you create a bad neuro association to having more money, because that's kind of the worst thing that can happen. A lot of people have this belief that in order to make more money, they need to work harder and they just want an easy, relaxing life. And I totally get that. But the problem why you're not making enough money is because of your belief. You believe that if you make more money, you have to work harder. And that's definitely not true at all, because you have a look around at some of the most successful people, some of the most, you have a look at Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. These people make billions and billions of dollars for their companies, but they literally have 24 hours in the day. And I know Bill Gates spends hours a day reading, and he'll go off and he'll have 4 days completely just to plan every year. Okay, so really it's coming down to thinking smarter and possibly working harder at the same time. And that's where today's topic stems from. It is really called focus. And it's one thing that I've actually learned to become better at. And focus is like a muscle, right? If you're not focusing and if you're getting carried away by distractions on social media, your email, TV, your phone, people calling you on your phone, that's a massive distraction. Then you really need to have a look at why your focus is being tainted, and you need to be able to remove the distractions. And it only comes down to this, especially, I think I read this in a book, I think it was the 12-week year, but he was talking about for every hour block, if you have a distraction, it probably consumes 35-40% of that 1 hour block to actually get focused in again. So immediately from the 60 minutes, you'll lose 20 minutes trying to get back to that zone. And so that becomes unproductive work. And what I see with a lot of personal trainers is they'll set out to do 100 million different things, which is cool, because I was in the exact same boat. Especially when I started out online, I wanted to get clients, I wanted to build membership sites, I wanted to build my sales funnel, then I wanted to launch my Facebook ad. But now that I've taken on more tasks such as writing books, managing agencies, helping personal trainers, creating content, looking at retreats and so on and so forth, I need to start managing my time a lot better, which then goes on to delegating. But that's for another episode. Today, it's really making sure that are you doing a self-assessment on your focus? And what I mean by that is, if you're losing 30% of your time every time a distraction comes along, a 10-hour day, you've already lost 3 hours from really work trying to get back into the zone. And I say this because I know a lot of personal trainers out there want to start a business and want traction. And when you launch your first online program, when you launch your first flagship program, whether or not you create your 28-day challenge or whatever you need momentum. Okay, there goes by this kind of tipping point where things will start to take off, and you can grind and you can hustle and you can feel like nothing's happening all day. But until you reach this tipping point, then you kind of gain traction and then you get more momentum from it. Okay, because here's the thing, we live off energy. Okay, if you're in a crappy state and you've been working on a project for 3-4 months and it hasn't taken off and it's a small project, the longer it takes to do something, the harder it is to complete
complete. I think that I wrote a quote on that on Facebook one day and it went off. But really, I mean this in the most respectful and most, honest way, that if you're taking a long time to do something, to get something started, to get something off the ground, you are going to enter more and more resistance every single day doing it, okay? But let's go back to the topic of focus and how can you really assess what you're focusing on? How can you make sure that you're being the most productive? And that comes down to planning, okay? We're personal trainers. We started out, we're not tied into the corporate life. Most of us aren't. Most of us were pretty crazy at school. We didn't follow the books. We didn't follow the rules. When I look at all the people inside the group, I see massive amounts of entrepreneurs, people who want to make a change, people who take action and are risk takers, right? And so when you come up with risk takers, you are fantastic because the key attributes that you have is getting started off the floor very quickly, but you lose that structure. You lose the balance of being able to plan, being able to see and structure, organize your day, okay, into little segments. And the problem with this is you can start something very quickly, but it takes you a long time to get it complete because you can get the idea off the ground, you can start the framework, but you can't execute. And execution comes in the structure, execution comes in the focus, okay? And if you're listening to this is purely coming from my own experience and my own self. I'm really talking about me right at this moment in time. When I start a project, I'm so quick to get an idea off the ground, it's ridiculous. But making sure that I have the framework in place so that I can execute and I can run a new project or get a new program up and running really relies on the structure. And what I do now, and this is something that you might be able to take on board inside your business, inside your life, is that at the start of every day, I'll go to a cafe, I'll do my emails, I'll do my podcast, I'll do my Facebook group post. And that just becomes a non-negotiable. Just like a lot of trainers I know around the world do their meal prep, these are the non-negotiables and habits that I've built up. But that's completely for another day. This is really making sure that my day is planned out and making sure that every hour is accounted for. And I know you might be thinking, hey Lynn, that's cool, but that sounds too rigid, that sounds too tough. And I'm only telling you this because of the momentous leaps that I've made in the past year, in the past 6 months, even in the past 3 months by structuring my day like this. So I'll have a look at every single day and I'll break my day down into, let's say, hour segments, and I'll put the one task that I need to complete in that 1 hour. And so I'll be very specific about it. So in particular, today is really making sure that I remap the whole webinar out and get that complete. So you really have to put your key objectives, and then at the end of the day, I'll go back and give myself a score and really have a look at what did I do well, what didn't I do well. And so I've done that. I think I did that when I was doing the 12-week year. And so that improved, or that just gave me the awareness to have a look at what I was spending my time with. What did I get distracted on? And who was distracting me? So a lot of the times now, my phone's switched off. I'll go on Facebook, but I'll use Chrome extension called Kill Newsfeed. So I won't be distracted by anyone. I can go into my groups and I can do all that. I'll probably delete Messenger off my phone so that I'm not distracted with anything, because it's not about turning your phone on silent, or it's not about putting it on vibrate. It's just knowing that when it does vibrate, that kind of anchors into your mind, and you then have to fight against resistance in order for you not to go to your phone. Okay, so if you plan out your day strategically and do this at the start of every day, or if you're even better, I've heard from Tim Ferriss that you can do this at night, is that you can plan out the next day. Every hour is accounted for. What are you doing in that hour? Making sure that you're completely accountable. It's almost like if you're training in the gym, you're tracking your reps, you're tracking your sets, you're tracking your rest times. Because the truth is, I really want you to go out there and become outstanding. I want you to get more done because I believe you can do more. But without these key principles and foundations in place, and a lot of people are getting distracted because distractions are everywhere, it's going to be hard to succeed. Okay, so these are my little hacks, and everything that I want to learn, I want to be able to share with you. So moving forward, every hour is accounted for. And then what you do at the end of the day is you give yourself a score. And you just rate yourself honestly. If, first when I started out, I got a 2 out of 10 because I ticked off 2 blocks out of the 10 blocks. And then now I'm starting to move up to the 6, 7. But what I've noticed now, and that works really well, what I notice now is I need instant accountability. So right now I'm trying to implement at the end of every hour, set my alarm at the end of every hour, and then do a 2 to 5 minute kind of rehash on what I did in that hour and what distractions came up and how I can eliminate that for the next hour. So I'll work for a 45-minute block, take 15-minute break just to kind of rehash and have a look at how I did in that 45 minutes. So that's something that I'm implementing, and if that becomes better, that's fantastic. Only because when you start doing more and you start focusing and you have to get a job done, and only because there is a lot more on my plate at this very moment in time, do I have to kind of resort to this. So you'll hear this all the time. If you listen to other podcasts, you'll hear, what are your key habits? Things like meditation in the morning, right? I wasn't a big meditator. I'm not a big meditator. I couldn't meditate if it saved my life, but I have my own morning ritual, which then helps. And it only helps because it allows me to stay focused. And that's the big thing that most personal trainers are struggling with at this moment in time. You are going out there, you are getting distracted, you are jumping on every single shiny object or new tactic there is out there, and you're not focusing on implementing the stuff that you know, okay? Because you feel as though you don't know enough. And with all the strategies from the summit, with all the strategies from the group, and with the strategies from the podcast, please, if you're struggling, please listen to the first 10 episodes on this to get great ideas so that you can go out there and get more clients. But here's the thing, if you're not going to commit to following through and scheduling out 2 hours of your day to finish that and don't do anything until you finish that, you're going to be dabbling. And what I've learned from years of dabbling is that you don't get anywhere. You get frustrated. You run this kind of rat race. You run this hamster wheel around and around and around. And the worst thing that I could do is know all this information and not be able to share it with you. Because at the end of the day, when I wrote that email about my why, it really is because I want people to succeed. I want people to have that freedom just to have control of their own life, really. Once you have control of your own life, you don't have to work for anyone. You're not worried about money. You know you can create money, but it comes back with discipline and focus. Okay, so I really hope that helps you. And once again, this is kind of another topic, but I really want to be able to share with you everything that I learned and everything that I'm going through, because once again, I'm not at a destination that you want to be. I'm continually growing. So where I am now, you want to be in a month, you want to be in 3 months, you want to be there next week, okay? And so as we're continually growing, this is going to be a fantastic journey. So I really hope you enjoy this. And if you do, please let me know. Leave a review on iTunes and let me know, hey, Lynn, that focus podcast was really, really cool. I'm having trouble with focusing. What else can I do? And so I'll recommend a few books, which is really, really awesome. So I hope you have a fantastic day. I really hope you enjoy that one. And I'll see you on the next episode.
All right, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes, and feel free to leave a review, and that way I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks, and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients, and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.